Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm going to make a quick video just recapping the past week in Blue Jays land today. So if this is something that you guys like, it might be something that I do from week to week moving forward, maybe in place of doing the daily Jays game recaps. And yeah, I'll just kind of touch on the headlines, some things that I'm noticing about the team, just my thoughts on how things are going, maybe do a bit of a power rankings even. But yeah, let's get into it. So obviously the biggest news this week was Vladdy Jr. Signing his big extension, getting the $500 million over 14 years from the Blue Jays. Fantastic stuff there by all parties involved, by Vladdy, by his father, his team, Ross Atkins, Shapiro, Rogers, all, you know what, we spread the blame around, so we'll give the glory to all of them. And yeah, they did a fantastic job there getting the deal done. They used some creative accounting. As most of you would know by now, they've done $325 million as a signing bonus for various reasons, mostly for, tax safety for Vladdy, and also he will get paid if there's any sort of lockout or anything like that. He'll get paid the signing bonus portion. So some really savvy stuff there on his team, or the Blue Jays side, whoever came up with it. As well as, maybe the Blue Jays got a lower cap number out of the deal. Maybe Vladdy really was looking for that 585 number that we originally heard, and they were able to get him down to 500 by, guaranteeing him more money and the tax kind of loophole in a way. It's all legal, but, using that tax advantage that he can claim that money in Florida rather than Canada. So good work by all parties involved there, getting the deal done, much like the Dodgers worked it out with Shohei a couple years ago. They used some creative resources there to get it done, so props to them. And I'm using a new software here now, so you'll see me moving myself around the screen and trying to get better at this, just playing around with it at the moment. So yeah, I'm just going to shrink myself, and I'm going to slide myself over and shrink myself. And then what I'm going to do is bring this up. And this is the first sign that we're seeing of the benefits of having Vladdy locked up, is just immediately it starts the conversations of other people wanting to stay. There was another quote by Jose Barrios about how he had a couple years left, and obviously he's got the opt-out coming up, but he kind of hinted towards maybe an extension getting done and wanting to stay. And I don't know if that maybe means, he gets the bump up in AAV in order to void his opt-out or something like that. But either way, he's now open to extending and talking with the team. He may have been anyways, but this Vladdy news definitely doesn't hurt. And we're seeing here Vlad's lifelong friend here, or sorry, I should say baseball lifelong friend of Bo Bichette. They've been together since they were kids in this system, and they've come up together. Hazel May did an interview with him where he was quoted as saying, she says here, spoke to Bo Bichette about a possible extension of his own and winning championships with Guerrero Jr. And Bo said, it has been my goal since I was a kid to be with one organization my whole career and building a winning culture with Vladdy, but nothing's on the table right now. Now this was basically, as you can see there, April 7th, so right as the Vladdy news was getting done. I would imagine now that Vladdy's deal is done, that was taking most of the brain power from the front office and most of the prioritization. And, without that Vladdy deal done, did it make sense to work on Bo? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they were looking at, reshaping the whole roster if they were unable to get Vladdy done. But I would imagine that Bo now becomes front and center in their priority list. And same thing for Bo. I think having Vladdy done makes him a lot more open to the talks and seeing that the team's committed to spending. So that's just kind of where I wanted to start off here with, the benefits that go beyond the dollar value with Vlad, is just having that certainty, having a star player locked up, and it's its interest that it causes amongst other players on the Blue Jays and potentially in the free agent market as well. But with that out of the way, we'll get into the actual Blue Jays on-field performance. So here's the AL East standings. Toronto Blue Jays sit in first place at 8-6. Back a half game are the New York Yankees. Another game behind them, Boston Red Sox. Tampa Bay Rays are tied with them. And in last place, Baltimore Orioles at 5-8. So maybe a little bit surprising, but as we talked about coming into the season, all these teams were more or less a toss-up. There could be a wide range of outcomes here. And I think it was Fangraphs had all these teams right around that, 40 to 50% playoff odds. And it looks like, at least to start the season, up until the trade deadline, we could see it kind of shape up that way. Obviously, Baltimore's having some issues with their pitching staff right now, but their offense is amazing when it's on. Boston, we just got finished playing them in Boston. They look like a good team. When they get clicking, their offense will be scary. They've got their ace now. And you know what? The Yankees are the Yankees. None of us really like them, but they are a good team, so that is what it is. And the Rays, they just always kind of hang around. I never know year to year what to expect from them. I'll never discount them either. Like, even if they don't look fantastic right now, they're just a team that you can never really say is out of it until they're actually out of it. So here's how the week played out. Obviously, last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we got swept by the Mets, which wasn't ideal. And then in Boston, we won the first three and then lost the heartbreaker there with the, the whole John Schneider quote about playing 9 men and an umpire. That, I don't think that umpire was doing it on purpose. I don't think that he was a Boston fan or anything along those lines. I think it was just a bad day that happened to fall that way. And we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it was ugly. Obviously, the umpire scorecard came out, and he was atrocious. He favored the Boston Red Sox by 2 runs, and that's not what you want to see in an extra inning game. But something I wanted to talk about is the home run issues the Blue Jays have been having, and why it might not just be the hitter's fault. Obviously they share some of the blame, like 100%. They need to get going, like no matter the excuses. But an observation was in this 7-game stretch, the New York Mets and Boston Red Sox also have very good lineups. And they were only able to muster 1 home run between the two of them, and that was that Pete Alonso home run right at the start of, I think it was the first game. And other than that, there were no home runs. And then on the Blue Jays side, we only had 1 home run from George Springer. So what was the common denominator there? I think it had a lot to do with just how cold it was in the northeast of the states there in New York and Boston. The one game was around 3 degrees Celsius, I think. And you saw in all the games, the hand warmers were on, the toques were on. You could see their breath. It was definitely cold. I didn't check what all the game time temperatures were, but it was definitely, single digits cold, especially at night as the games went on. And just, I don't know, a tidbit, I guess, I wanted to throw in there is we all think about Coors Field at the elevation that it is. It's 5,000 feet or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's high up there, right? And they say the ball carries, somewhere around 10% further there because of the air density. And what maybe a lot of people don't really think about in regular stadiums, where it's not kind of the commonly known thing, is the outside temperature has a huge role in air density. Obviously, it's like a linear relationship there. And you are going to be losing, from 0 degrees to 30 degrees, obviously broad ends of the spectrum, but you are going to be losing like half the effect of a Coors Field at the same ballpark with the same, wind direction, obviously all that kind of stuff, and a guy topping the ball versus backspin and whatnot. But like that cold weather really does impact the flight of a ball. And it will definitely bring it down several percent. Like I say, on the really cold games versus like a hot summer day, you really are getting like half the effect of Coors Field. You're probably losing, I don't know, somewhere around 10% or something like that. Like not 10%, like 5%, because it'd be like half of Coors Field. But yeah, it's a noticeable enough difference that you're getting drag, you're not seeing the ball, the balls that are hit off the green monster to the fence, things like that, they're not going over. The liners into the gap are just getting that little extra drag. So it's a little bit of a factor. Again, I'm not saying that that's the whole reason why there was no offense and all that. I'm just saying that it seemed a little bit coincidental that we played 2 really good offenses and they also couldn't get anything going in our series while playing at the same stadiums as we were. I think there's something to that, and I think there's a reason why when we get to Baltimore, we get back home, the offense will come around and we will start to see the ball fly. But anyways, that was just some observations that I wanted to make here. And yeah, great thing that the Blue Jays are in first place in the division. That's my thoughts on what it wasn't helping the offense. And I did look into some of like just the team stats just to kind of see if there was anything glaring. I didn't really notice much. We're doing a phenomenal job at contacting the baseball. I actually think I still have that tab up here. Yeah, so our zone contact rate is still 84%, which is like top of the majors. And we are chasing a little bit more than what you'd like to see. And the only thing I really saw is we're not getting quite as many meatballs, which are just like basically middle pitches, and we're only swinging at about 70% of them, which would be on the lower end of the league. That's not like by itself make or break, because there are other teams with good offenses that are also down there, like the Diamondbacks and the Yankees, but you're also coupled there with like the Marlins and the Pirates and how the Braves have been doing and stuff like that. And if you look at the Dodgers have gotten almost the most meatballs in the league so far, which is kind of funny given their lineup, and they swing at them 85% of the time. So the Dodgers get a fair few meatballs, and they also basically swing at them every single time, which is why they're so good, and they've got some really talented players that punish pitchers. But yeah, that's just my thoughts for today. Let me know if you liked the video. Maybe this is something I can do moving forward, and we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.